You're listening to the Chasing Tone podcast. I'm Travis.
I'm Max.
I'm Ryan.
And that's Brian Wampler, and Max and I are, associates, employees?
Sure.
You know, goons, whatever you want to call us. It's fine.
You're temps.
Yeah, we're temps. This temp thing's worked out for a couple years, so
Longest temp job I've ever had.
I'm just too lazy to fire you.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm all right
Continue
with
to
that.
be lazy with that.
Because I heard college is hard.
It is hard.
It is hard.
The only thing, I don't remember college in that way. But
Yeah, I went to classes, but I wasn't enrolled. True story. There was a Hendrix class at IU, and I went to the Hendrix class.
that would be an awesome class.
Yeah, the reason I went was Billy Cox was the bass player in Band of Gypsies.
Mm-hmm.
He actually came and spoke. So none of my friends were even enrolled in the class. We just heard about it. And, at IU, there's 300 people in each class.
Yeah.
So we just went, and it was awesome. We got to shake his hand and all that. So it's
If
cool.
there was a Brent Mason class or a George Lynch class, I would have went to.
Why don't you just call Brent and be like, hey, can you give me a class since we're best friends?
You think Brent could stay on topic?
he's like, I'm Brian Wampler. I'm best friends with Brent Mason.
Oh, whatever. Best.
Yeah, but you guys are good friends, which is cool. So, speaking of great players, and Brent may actually be the answer for you to this. Max had a good idea here. What was that? This part isn't really related to gear, but what was that one artist or song that made you want to play guitar?
Me?
Yeah.
That made me want to play? When I first started playing, remember, I was 7 years old.
Okay, no,
So-
let me backtrack.
Okay.
Did you have anybody in your family play, or is it something
Yeah.
you just took interest in?
Yeah, both my grandparents played.
Okay.
In fact, back in the 40s or whatever it was, they were both
Okay.
on the radio. So they were big time
okay.
musicians. That's what
Yeah.
they did for a living for a while.
And back then, you had to be good to be on the radio.
They played on the music box.
Hey, what's a radio?
No, so my grandparents played. My brother played drums. My uncle played drums as well. You
you had the
grew
background.
Up. I grew up. My brother
Okay.
had a band, and I grew up with
Right.
He was in high school, so they were playing songs in the family room, whatever. And I was like, in fact, I think it was on our bio page for a while. The guitar player had a flying V.
I remember that.
And I was
yeah.
that's so cool. I loved that guitar. So, I was 7 years old at the time, and I was like, I want to play guitar.
Right.
I'm going to buy a flying V. So I kind of grew up around, both my brothers were
Right.
into classic rock,
That's
Van
okay, so-
Halen and stuff like that.
So would this be the 80s? Or the 70s?
70s, late 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
You're right. He is old, dude.
I am old. Yeah. So yeah, that was Twisted Sister was big back then.
Yeah.
That's a band that the guys
Wore
they
makeup
looked
and
like
stuff.
girls, but they weren't it was for different reasons.
What
now.
do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to rock.
You have no idea what we're talking about, do you?
Max is.
Do you know what we're
I
talking
really do. Yeah, I saw it on VH1 Classic one time. And I just dated myself because I don't think VH1 Classic's still around. Man, I know you guys are old.
Hey, at least we listen to you listen to George Lynch. That's your childhood music.
Yeah.
Mine's Pearl Jam. Yours is Blink 182.
No.
You got
So,
the shaft, bro.
I went in reverse. Yeah, I didn't listen to any modern music.
Okay, nothing against Blink 182.
but I
You
mean,
know,
it's if I had, I don't know. I was into Van Halen stuff.
Yeah.
Which is how we got the Pinnacle.
Right.
So I love that sound.
which is how I get my paycheck.
So, just all those great classic rock guitar stuff that
Yeah.
I just was always just so drawn to that sound. And I think we've talked about it on podcasts before about how I was always trying to get that sound out of my little 10-inch solid state amp, whatever it was, some Sears and Roebuck amp.
Nice.
Like we said before, which was a store back then. The catalog.
Catalog.
Analog internet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a
Gotcha.
website on paper.
Analog.
It's like an analog map. Analog GPS.
Logan and I, to interject, of course, we never stay on topic, but Logan and I, we went to, Logan is a video guy and, works here and stuff, but he we needed an Atlas. And Logan, how old was this lady?
Mid-40s.
Mid-40s, you think? No, the first girl? The one we asked the question?
Mid-40s.
Okay, was she mid-40s? I went up to this lady, and I said, hey, we're looking for a road atlas. And she looked at me straight and goes, an atlas? And at first I thought she meant, like, why would you want an atlas? I was like, yeah, an atlas. And she had to actually say, what's an atlas? And that's when I realized we live in a different day and age now. So, of course, Logan goes, what am Atlas?
Awesome.
But okay. All right. So that's cool. So family was kind of your thing. And those styles of music is kind of
it wasn't like a guitar player. Like for you, it's probably like Hendrix, I think you said, or something like that. But
actually, no. But
okay, well,
yeah, I'll save that. Yeah.
Yeah, save that. So, yeah, for me, it was just like being around all that great music at the time.
Okay,
You
cool.
know?
So Max, now sorry to like take it away from you, but your dad is like a accomplished musician too. You know? I know your dad. And,
Yeah. My dad played and all his buddies played. When I was younger, I just thought that's what adults did. Just grew up and played guitar. I saw everybody played acoustic. You know, so then from there, he was a huge Beatles fan, so therefore I became a big Beatles fan. You know, the Beatles were this band, Brian, in the 60s, had a bunch of hits.
I've heard of them.
No, but yeah, I really loved the Beatles, really loved Stevie Ray Vaughan later in life. But I guess for me, you guys will probably make fun of me for this, and most of the guys...
probably not as bad as mine, but go ahead.
Probably most of the guys listening to make fun of this. But 2000, I think it was 2005, John Mayer Trio came out.
No, there's nothing wrong
with
that.
And the song Who'd You Think I Was? I heard that tone, I'm like, I need to be a professional musician now.
Yeah.
After I heard that tone, it's like, this is it.
Crazy good tone.
Yeah, I was like, this is it for me.
And he came along, like, there's always that guy. Like, I mean... For instance, it was Stevie Ray, and then, I think he left us in the 90s.
And in 1990, exactly.
1990, right? And then, Kenny Wayne Shepherd came on probably 96, 95, and him and Johnny Lang.
Yeah.
Johnny Lang's huge influence.
And then, he kind of, and Kenny Wayne's still very relevant, and so is John, but in a different kind of area, which Cortland Clement, he's playing with John now. So it's
really?
so
cool. Very cool.
Yeah. We might need to get a hold of him. Say, hey, John, But and then you got, and then that's kind of when John Mayer came along.
Yeah.
And of course he was known as a singer songwriter and that, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this kid can play. So.
Plus,
I totally
he was
see
real poppy
that.
at first, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was real
plus
poppy.
The trio band. I mean, Pino Palladino, Steve Jordan.
Steve Jordan's ridiculous.
It was like those three. I was like, oh my gosh, couldn't ask for a better backing band.
Yeah. So no, I totally get that. I don't think anybody's gonna make fun of you on that, man. John Mayer, number one, he can play. Number two, but I remember when my band was gigging out, we were doing the Otis Redding tune he does.
Oh yeah, Mr. Pitiful.
Yeah, Mr. Pitiful. We were doing that tune, and I'd been doing that tune for years because it was an Otis Redding tune. Well, we're doing this gig, and this cute girl who's young and obviously probably couldn't care less about music came up to me, and she's like, oh, I love that John Mayer song you guys did. And I had to think about it. I was like, John Mayer song? She's like, yeah, Mr. Pitiful. And I was like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, John Mayer.
That is a John Mayer song because I am hip and relevant, But so no, John Mayer, man, I totally get that. Yeah, that's cool. You can narrow it down to a specific song.
Yeah. Who'd you think I was? This is the first time I heard it on 92.3. I was like, man, this is it.
Yeah, there's a plug for WTTS. You need a T-shirt or something.
If I could think of a song that like made me think like at 7 or 8, the definitive like
that's
man,
rock
that
guitar.
tone.
Yeah.
Honestly, it probably would be like "Rock You Like a Hurricane." Scorpion.
Oh
yeah, it's a great tone.
That's my
goes
first
on.
chorus. But just the opening thing. As a little kid, I was just like,
yeah, why not, man? Yeah. So mine is definitely worthy of being made fun of. It was an incredible guitar player played the part, but it wasn't even electric guitar, and it was probably the one song that this. Okay, I'll just say it. There's this chick, right? And
that's all. Every story with you starts.
whatever. But this will tell you how long ago it was, so it couldn't even been bad. I was a little kid, but back in grade school or whatever, her song was "To Be With You" by Mr. Big.
oh yeah,
That guitar solo, I don't care what anybody says, that guitar solo Paul Gilbert plays is incredible, man. It's just such a great solo. And I heard that and I was like, okay, I got to get a guitar. But so of course I got an acoustic guitar, learned how to play Batman, and my sister wanted to borrow it for her Halloween costume, and she got drunk and smashed it. And you know my sister, so it's like you don't doubt it for 1 second.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It's like the female twin version of you.
Yeah. Only with a little more redneck thrown in. But
That's funny.
But the first time,
That reminds me of how my first guitar broke, actually.
how'd you? I spun it around your head.
No, that was another dumb time later. No, I got mad at my brother. It was an acoustic guitar.
Is
like
it the same brother I met?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And it was like a cheap cheap acoustic, and I smashed it on his butt.
Oh, I bet that's not smart. He's a big dude, man.
Yeah, he was big, almost been bigger than me, but he didn't like that.
I bet not. That's not
Thank
a
God
smart
for
idea.
Mom, because she saved me. You leave him alone.
Yeah.
because you were the baby.
Yeah, that was the baby.
Nice. That's awesome.
Leave your little brother alone. He didn't mean to, but yes, Mom, you're right. I didn't do anything wrong.
But for electric guitar, because I first started, there was one guy in the town that I grew up in that played guitar. That's it. And he taught me power chords. And this would have been like 96, 97 is when I started playing.
Yep.
And he showed me Green Day because it was so easy. And it was a song, I forget what it's called, Brain Stew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da-da.
It's just
Yeah.
it's A power chord, then
A,
G,
G.
F sharp, F, E.
Right.
So it's like the easiest song in the world to play.
I thought it hit G flat before the F.
I had to do the math on that. I'm like, wait a minute. They're screwing with me here.
Sorry.
Don't say anything. You'll sound stupid.
But that was the first song that I was kind of like, and he introduced it to me, and thank God for that guy, because say what you want about that style of music at that time, but for a guy who's just learning how to play guitar and has like no attention span at all,
Right.
if I'm not decent at it immediately, then I'm not going to do it.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's when Nirvana and Green Day and all that stuff was out, and I was able to kind of pick it up, and
Yeah, I took lessons actually here in town. The store's no longer here, but and the thing I took away from that, I took lessons for like 2 months or something stupid, and I learned Yankee Doodle.
see what I mean? Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
so I had a guy that was teaching me
Like-
a relevant tune,
Right.
and that's
But back then, that's how you did it. You bought a Mel Bay book, and it's like, here's 3 notes on the high E string, and
Yeah.
we're gonna play Yankee Doodle or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, rocking
See-
out now.
man. I was so fortunate. It just the way things lined up, because that guy his name's
Yeah.
Matt Morgan, and I mean he's a really good guitar player, great guy. But he kind of got me interested in it, and I fell in love. Played 8 hours a day, But I grew up kind of in an Amish community, so what else are you gonna do? But then when
As long as you didn't run out of electricity, you're all right.
yeah, exactly. You had to crank up the generator.
Exactly. Keep riding the bike, Mom. Don't slow down.
But then I met this guy, David Parman. He's a professor at VU, and he actually did a lot of stuff with Mellencamp when Mellencamp was growing up. But he kind of took me under his wing a little bit. But I was real fortunate that people were, giving me real music to play.
Right.
Not the Yankee Doodle's not, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
Real-
stuff that
real
guitar music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So John Mayer, mine was
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert and Billy
Yankee Doodle.
Yankee Doodle. Heck, you could probably own the rights to that now, right? So, and then of course I got into Hendrix, and then that changed everything. And of course when Stevie Ray came along, and that was my first introduction to a pedal. Of course the.
I went through like the classic rock stuff, and of course I was actually there during the '80s rock scene. Not like there in LA, but I mean,
Right.
I remember going through it. So, like Dokken, Firehouse.
What was Betamax like?
It was
Or Laserdisc,
bro.
yeah. What was the Reagan administration like?
But
It was
I'm sorry, I
fantastic,
could've-
and it's never been as good.
Anyways.
I hope people know I'm joking, because I'm not going to talk politics ever. This is not the Rush Limbaugh show.
no, I don't know enough about politics or to make that intelligent
Exactly.
conversation. But I mean, but anyways, like Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam and Nirvana.
Oh, yeah.
I like Nirvana, but I wouldn't like, oh, that guitar, you know?
Right.
But like Alice in Chains, Dirt album.
Yeah, Jerry Cantrell, man. He can.
Wallmaster.
He just had a signature amp from Friedman come out, I believe, right?
Really? I think so.
I think so, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that
Just being honest here, like,
He's like, no.
you could have.
I love it because Max could be like, yeah. He's like, I don't know. No,
I really don't.
Yeah,
being honest
between Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains, that like totally shaped my '90s.
oh yeah, man.
You know?
Without a doubt.
And then
I had the Doc Martens and the flannel.
So I still,
Haircut shaved
I
underneath.
have everything
and
I
then-
had was a flannel shirt. Yeah,
I still have
man.
Doc Martens.
didn't take showers for weeks on time. It was great. So, but then actually,
dig that.
I got into a country band. I mean, seriously, like
that
like
makes
there's an
sense.
ad in like Nouveau magazine, which is like the
Analog Craigslist.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Craigslist. So, you know, it's like for a country band. I'm like, yeah, I can make some extra money, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't. The problem was I didn't know any country.
Well, the good news
none.
is back then
So-
you could gig and make the exact same amount of money as you make when you gig now. So that actually was real
and
money.
you can still wear the flannel.
and still wear the flannel.
But yeah. So I mean, that kind of took me down like learning the Brent Mason road, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's cool. It's kind of weird how it just all transitions like that. you
it
know?
does.
But
Yeah.
because I remember for me the turning point was like the Vitology record from Pearl Jam. I think.
Yeah,
Was that the one that
third
was
one.
like? Yeah, I can't remember, but it was. I think it was that record. But if you go back and listen to it, I don't think there's a guitar solo on it.
And yeah, that's not
Isn't
really
that crazy?
Yeah.
And I mean that's but yeah, so that's a great record. Have you ever heard it?
I've never sit down with the whole thing.
I,
Oh,
so I
dude,
think
it's
the
killer.
first two were my favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Was it 10 and Versus? I think.
yeah, both of them are. I don't know. I'm a Pearl Jam fan, man. So there's not much I don't like, but it's kind of off subject, but that's nothing new to this show.
No,
Uh,
that's kind of on subject.
Max and I had a gig last night, and
Pearl Jam was there.
no, completely off subject. I gig tested the new prototype.
The
Yeah, gig tested it. So, dude, you can't say the name.
why can't we say the name of it?
No,
we can't say.
yet. Too soon.
Oh man,
I didn't even catch it.
I bet I can't even say it. Sounds like a.
No.
I'm gonna have to bleep those out.
Yeah.
Leave it to me to screw it up.
Anyway, no, it sounded real good, man.
At least you're consistently wrong.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
But I stacked it with another overdrive, and man, it I think we can say it's an overdrive though. I can get away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
overdrive.
good. Yeah,
Of course,
I'm
you can
right,
say
right?
it's an overdrive. As soon as I say the name of it, oh no, can't say the name.
But I stacked it with another overdrive, man, and it was a familiar tone that I had years ago, but better. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really digging the higher output. I'll say that much.
Really?
And then I guess now we're being a little bit too vague, but whatever. Max opened that can of
I was
worms.
direct to the point. I said the name of it, what it sounded
Yeah, good
like.
point. I guess I was the vague one. But no, we're like a doo-wop group last night, man.
Had 3-part
We had
harmonies.
3-part harmonies.
Really?
It was
Wait,
awesome.
wasn't this open jam?
Yeah.
Well, right, but we the way that the jam works is my band gets up and we host it. We do like 45 minutes or an hour.
I was thinking, wow, 3-part harmonies for open jams.
Wow. No, it was my band and Max joined us, so it was
Gotcha.
my band featuring Max. But
Cool.
Yeah, we did some 3-part harmonies. Do some Eagles.
We could have.
Nope.
We could have, though.
Look, I've had a long day and I hate the Eagles, man. You know that reference? Come on, tell me you know that reference. Do you know that reference?
Uh-uh.
It's totally the Big Lebowski.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm talking about that.
I was busy whenever that movie came
Oh,
out.
dude. So was I.
I know what you're doing.
Yeah, whatever.
I really haven't seen it. I
Oh,
probably should.
man.
Everybody always tells me I should. So.
Oh, dude, it's fantastic.
I thought you were talking about that Facebook article where that woman stabbed her roommate to death for listening to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like nonstop. Seriously, this woman, her roommate was listening to the Eagles, and this woman told her to stop, and she didn't. So she stabbed her
Yeah, repeately.
with
Until
a knife, like stabby. Yeah.
Well, now that she's in jail for the rest of her life, she won't be hearing Eagles.
Exactly.
I've never hated a band that much.
Oh, I have.
Oh my god!
I have.
Rebecca Black. That's Travis's. You forgot about that, didn't you?
No, I actually liked it. Remember, I would always sing it, and you get Oh, I remember the song I would sing and you'd get mad, but I can't say that.
No.
No. Which is cool, man.
What I want to know is what kind of gear are we talking
Exactly, right? Just depends, right? You know, I mean, it depends on what Rebecca Black used in the hip hop or the Eagles, you know. But the Eagles, you can't really knock like the Hotel California tone.
No,
Yeah.
What were they using?
You know,
I mean, 'cause I know,
I've read
like,
about it, but I don't remember now.
That's like the big mystery, isn't it? Isn't that like one of the mysteries? Like,
I forget. Seems like I read something somewhere at some time.
you're gonna say
That
tweed,
doesn't
aren't
ring.
you?
Huh?
Are you gonna say tweed?
Well, I mean, it seems like someone had actually like an engineer or something came out on. I forget what the website is now. There's a website like where all these different engineers had talked about the recordings they're on. It seems like I read on that website what was actually used, but that's been a little while ago.
If there's any Eagle fans out there,
So
you can email at podcast.com.
Yeah, podcast.com.
Probably using a plexi drive.
Yeah, add podcast@pedalsandpedals.com. Charles is looking at me as I'm trying to say this. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting lost in his hair. So he's uncomfortable with his haircut right now, so I had to make him even more uncomfortable.
It's an in-between stage.
Look how red his face is. That's what makes it so great.
It's an in-between stage.
Yeah.
I'm going to fight through it. I told you before, this is my way of dealing with the midlife crisis, and it cost me no money.
See, I tried to deal with the in-between stage of my mustache, but it lasted like 4 months. So I just had to shave it at this point.
If your air quotes mustache. Oh, dude,
pretty
I'll
awesome.
have to send it. I ought to post it on
It was
Instagram. Can I put it on Instagram?
I don't know. We'll have to think about it.
Okay.
We'll just do it for like, what was it? No Shave November. You can put it up there. I want to do it again because I get married in October, so
What did your mustache sound like? Did it have a good tone?
I did. I could play a solo.
It was gritty and hairy. No. That is
stretch.
something I do want to touch on eventually, though. Is like what all these words mean. Because seriously, I get a lot of people emailing me saying, you know, what does a woody tone mean? And it's so hard to put into words.
Where did those words come from, anyways? Who was the guy that said, sounds like wood?
Yeah,
Definitely isn't
but-
the writer. I had no part in this.
Well, no, I mean, and it's not even us, but but at the same time, you know, like there's a club in Indy, Daddy Jack's, and everything like it's hardwood floors, even the walls are wood paneled, and even the ceiling like on the stage is wood. And it's like, you totally get it. It has that throaty, mid-range,
Right.
you know, low mids, woody sound.
Throaty?
You know? Yeah, exactly. Throaty,
Where do you
yeah.
get throaty from? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I know, like, I have specific amps that are synonymous with these words, though. I don't know if you do. Like, I think throaty, the first thing I think is a Vibrolux. I don't know why.
See, I think more of like a Tweed Deluxe.
Really?
I do, personally.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man. We've talked about this before, but like a Tweed amp, when somebody else plays them, man, they sound incredible. When I play them, I hate them.
Yeah,
You
really?
don't
I
sound good
hate
to have a
it.
tweet amp.
I don't, man.
Yeah,
like,
you really don't.
Like when we played, when Ford, he had an actual 53 Deluxe.
Yeah.
The 583 thing looked awesome. You know, it'd be a cool piece of furniture for me, but I have no desire to ever plug a guitar into
I
it.
loved the way that thing sounded.
Me too.
Because you guys
Loved
were,
it.
you were proving to him that the Tweed 57 sounds really dang close to that amp. And this isn't meant to be an ad, but it really did sound close. And when I played both the pedal and the amp, I hated them both. And that's what's so hard to be subjective about actually being an employee. People be like, what do you think of the Tweed 57? You're like,
I like the plexi drive better.
It does the Tweed thing really well. Because the thing is, it does. I've heard it through multiple players. It sounded exactly like Ford's amp. It really
Right.
did. But, yeah, for some reason, I cannot make that sound good.
Well, yeah, and I mean that could be said about any pedal, really. I mean, an
Amp either.
or amp. I mean, there's guys that hate the way an AC30 sounds. You know, so if you hate the way an AC30 sounds, you probably won't like a Vox sounding pedal.
Okay,
you
here's
know?
something. I want you. You probably know the circuitry a little bit better than I do. This has to be in my head, right? Because I play an AC30. I've played an AC30 with Alnico speakers, and I don't dig it. Don't get me wrong. There's tones in there I really like, but to me, it's like when I find a tone I really like, I find it doesn't take pedals well. or when I find
Yeah,
a
that's-
tone I don't like, it does take.
That's the thing you fight with those amps.
Okay, so that is a thing. It's not just in my
Yeah,
head.
I mean, like for me personally, I prefer an AC30 with greenbacks, or like
Yeah, I
green
don't
berets
dig-
specifically.
Yeah, okay.
The greenbacky style speakers.
Okay.
I think when they're up louder, it just takes a little bit. I don't think those seem to always have like this high harmonic on it. So
Yeah,
like any overdrive
yeah.
pedal you have on it sounds fizzy.
Yeah, I played an amp last
You know?
night that had Alnicos in it, and it was tonal hell.
But
I hated
the
it.
clean tones are so
Total hell.
crystal clear and bell-like.
Which
that's
I
the
played-
other side. It's like I gotta have two amps. you know?
Yeah, exactly. Now you actually have an old AC30, don't you? Or your dad
My
does?
dad does, yeah.
Okay.
When they first started reissuing the hand wired
Okay.
back in like the early '90s or
Okay.
early '90s, he has one of those.
Okay, cool. I'd like to play that. you know,
Yeah,
but-
yeah, it's cool.
So here,
Is that different than my hand wiring?
Yeah, this has like it has like the 6 inputs. It's the
Gotcha.
the top boost, AC30 top boost. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
so this is what I was going to ask. Actually, what is this in my head? Because I played a oh man, what's it called? A DC30, a matchless.
Matchless,
yeah.
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 And
Great amps.
And it was so funny. But
Yeah,
I'll tell you a
great.
cool story about the amp. But I played it and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, now did Samson? Did he have something to do with Vox, or did he just start up matchless? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But-
honestly,
Isn't it supposed to be Vox based?
I think so. Yeah, I think
I
it's
could
kind
be
of
wrong
a,
on
I think
that.
it's kind of like a hot rodded box. And
Yeah, because it's
hot
got
rod
the
AC30.
EF86 preamp section, right?
As far as I know, yeah. I mean, I
But-
don't build amps for a living. But,
Right. Okay, fair
Sure,
enough. Right?
sounds right.
yeah, let's just
But
call,
you're a
let's just
gear-
call Mark up. real quick
Yeah,
and get
but
him.
you're a gear dude, right? You
Look it
know.
up, monkey.
But that amp was. But that amp was actually cool because I guess it was like one of the first 10 that Mark made. The one that I got to play through. It was in Nashville.
Some of those Bad Cats, I think, are based off of
love
them too.
The
Yes,
Bad
Bad
Cat
Cats.
Trim Cat was. I still kick myself for not buying this amp. Oh man, it was the best sound. That was the amp that it had a master on it, but it also like you pull it out and it defeats the master.
Right.
Oh yeah, it sounded so killer. But yeah, so I mean that's the thing. And then I
I
think
wonder what
Mark-
speakers the matchless had in it. Do you know?
it was a head. It was a head.
Okay,
so
so what-
yeah, that could be
Maybe,
the case.
maybe it was the cabinet you're going through. 'Cause I mean,
It was a Buzz fighting cab, and I don't know what was in it. I have no idea. I was in a studio, and I was real fortunate that there was just cabs lined up that were ready to be mic'd.
Right.
So I just went into each cab and found the one that fit that song.
right.
Sounds
You know?
terrible.
Yeah, I know. First world problem.
There's so many cabs. With all mic'd up, I just had to plug in each and every one, so I found sound I liked.
You know, a tone I did find that I loved though is I have a 65 Princeton reverb, and for some reason I just couldn't get it to sound good for this particular song, and then so I went out of that into a 15-inch Weber California, and that tone was killer, man. A little bitty Princeton pushing this 75-watt 15-inch speaker, and it sounded killer.
Huh.
But
That's like blues, the Fender Blues Juniors.
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
mean, the amps by themselves are pretty decent amps, especially for the price. But put them into like a really good cabinet.
Okay.
Oh man, they're crazy good.
I have one. Remember?
Yeah,
That
I'm,
one.
I'm
that-
still in the process of working on it.
It's class AB now because part of it's hand wired because Brian let me try to mod it and I burned the traces and he had to fix it. So, but
That thing's got more jumper wires on it.
dude, it's hand wired. It's not jumpered. It's not. It's class AB
It's-
part hand wired.
It's hand wired now, for
yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm
because
talking about.
Every
by
trace
Brian
lifted
by
off.
Brian Wampler. I mean, it sounds killer, but I wouldn't trust it like in a road gig.
You're gonna have to like put bubble wrap around it anytime you go.
No, I got it. I'm gonna Velcro it. I'm gonna put it in my studio, and then I'm gonna like affix a cable permanently to it, so you never have to touch the amp, and then it'll be fine. It sounds great. It's a good unit. It sounds
Good
great.
unit. I got no
We do need
reverb.
to fix that though. Yeah.
we do. Yeah,
But so yeah, maybe that's kind of where it's the speaker situation. Speaking of which,
yeah, that makes a big
speaking of which, see what I didn't know? Nothing.
yeah
Is that as bad? Is that as bad as Tone Curtain?
No, it's better in tone. Everything, just about everything's better in tone.
I'm still gonna work that in at the end.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
I'm not saying I'm. It's
So
gonna.
speakers-
It's catching
So
on.
speaking of speakers,
Speaking of speakers, I do need to talk to you about.
Sounds like a great
I
blog
need
title.
some advice on some speakers
Uh-huh.
for a Fender sound. So
For a Fender sound?
yeah, because I mean, moreover the JHS stuff. There's a couple things, or not JHS, WGS. Sorry, too many initials.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
WGS.
JHS makes speakers.
Sorry,
now?
no.
LOL.
But no, we were talking about a JHS pedal before the show. That's why for some reason it was on my mind. But okay, so well, man, I can't really think anything else to kind of go for there. The amp thing, we could talk forever. The speaker thing. One thing I kind of wanted to talk about, we didn't really get a chance to, is we had somebody ask you, my band hates me because I want to turn up my amp to get it to break up.
Right.
So obviously there's power scaling attenuation. So maybe we can talk about that next time.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So guys, I appreciate you listening, guys and gals. If there's any gal guitar players or anybody cares about tone, but or random things that have nothing to do with anything,
Or
but
just Travis getting completely off topic.
what happened? What happened? I'm the on topic guy, right? No,
Sure.
sure. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to shoot me an email. It's at podcast@wamplerpedals.com, and we'll get back to you. I'm Max.
I'm Trout. It threw me off. It totally worked. I'm like, that's Trout. Wait a minute. I'm Max. Steal my name all the time.
You're wrong again.
That was actually really good. So that's Travis. I'm Max. That's Brian. Good
Behind
night.
the tone curtain. All right, thank you guys, Travis, Max, and Brian. Until next time.